Against a backdrop of massively increased prices for silver and gold, the Royal Mint must be raking it in. Well, I suppose they are in certain ways because they overprice a lot of their items, but they're actually cancelling a lot of people's orders as well, mine included. And I've made complaints to the Royal Mint to the tune where I've been sent a free 5-gram gold bar with the absurdly written best wishes on it. It was technically my choice to get that one. I thought it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. Cancelling orders. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another precious metal, well, I want to say ramble, but it's going to be more of a rant today, where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. But today we are going to be talking about the Royal Mint and just quite how appallingly bad they are at the moment at seemingly the most basic of things, and that would be selling gold and silver. Now look, I'm going to be showing some customer experiences here, and I'm going to have some pretty negative things to say about the Royal Mint right now. I will just caveat this by saying that there are good people who work at the Royal Mint, and there are some good people who have helped and at least arranged for some compensation, some free gold to be sent my way. But it's a shambles from the Mint right now, and I want to share my experience as a customer, as a foolish returned customer, because I did say about a year and a half ago that I was done with the Royal Mint. No longer will I buy from them. And I kind of broke that rule when there were some really good deals to be had, because spot price went up massively and there were statically priced coins like this Trial of the Pix coin, which when I bought at the time of purchase was below spot price. But they've cancelled other orders, and it's happened even before the massive rise in price. So there's two main stories here to tell of their complete ineptitude, failure. I'm going to say borderline questionable moral ethics, and I'm going to back that up at some point, I hope, with some subject access requested emails that I have put into the Royal Mint to find out just what they're saying behind the scenes about me, my orders, my request for compensation for the absolutely ridiculous situation that I found myself in. So we'll just see what comes to light from that freedom of information request, basically, and see what happens. But yeah, don't buy from the Royal Mint. Not a good customer experience right now. Not a good look at all. And I'm not the only one in this bag. So this is kind of why I'm making the video, because the argument is that by just simply making a video about the Royal Mint again, I'm giving them exposure and people are going to go look at their website and so on. But unfortunately, I just can't avoid by talking about this, because there are plenty of other people out there who I think are in exactly the same situation of me. They have bought coins from the Royal Mint and they have seen their orders cancelled. They have seen their orders just disappear and money's been refunded to them. The Royal Mint are using get out of jail free cards to basically just keep hold of what they've got and sell it at higher prices to other people. And it sucks and it's stupid and it's not a good look from a national mint, especially a government-owned body. So first up, story number one, which is the reason that I have this free 5-gram gold bar. Best wishes. Yeah, I mean, listen, as I said at the beginning, there are good people in the mint, and there is a particularly good person who actually took the reins and helped organize a free 5-gram gold bar as part compensation for this. But basically what happened was, in the middle of September, so quite a long time ago, it was the 13th of September from memory, but I could be wrong about that date, I got an email for a stock notification of a product that I wanted to buy, and it wasn't in stock at the time, and then I put that stock notification on, it came on, and we've got the best thing in the world here, look, cellophane removal. Anyway, the Queen's Beasts 5-gram completer bars. Hot little products right now. You can flip them, you can sell them for a nice little bit of a profit, and they came up on the Royal Mint's website. Oh, that was satisfying. As in stock again. So I had this stock notification. It just turned out that I was sat right at my desk when that email came in. So I jumped onto the Royal Mint's website. Lo and behold, yeah, they're there in stock. £528 a bar. So I put an order for 10 in, and it made the payment. Got the order confirmation, everything fantastic. And I noticed that there were still some more in stock, so I tried to buy some more. And then there was a really bad experience where it just basically, big red order failed sign at the end of the payment. And I was like, fair enough, somebody else has beat me to the punch on those other 7 that were in stock. But my bank card was still charged. Money was taken from my account. I had to chase them in for like 3 days afterwards to get that. And they couldn't even like locate the order to start with because, of course, the order had failed. The money had been taken out. And then what I was told was basically it was a pending transaction. It would just fall away because there was no order behind it. But lo and behold, the next morning when I checked my bank account, they'd actually drawn the money from my bank. They'd what's called posted it from my bank. So when I contact my bank to say, what on earth's happening here? They went, well, you have to talk to the raw mint. Crazy, stupid. Anyway, but I was annoyed about that. I put in a little complaint about it. I didn't hear anything back from that complaint. And I was like, do you know what? Got the money back after like 3 days. Fine. Look, whatever. I don't care. I've got the other 10. That's fine. A couple of days went by, no dispatch. About a week and a half went by, no dispatch. So 2 weeks in, I rang them up and said, just curious what happened, because they were in stock, ready to go. What was happening with my order? And bear in mind, this is all still before the massive hike in gold price, right? Okay. It's told it would be dispatched very soon. In fact, it was being picked and ready to be dispatched. Hooray, I was saying. I'm going to get these 5-gram gold bars finally. Nothing happened. So I tried to ring back again. And then I was told by somebody on the customer services team that they weren't sure that they could even fulfill my order. Okay. And at this point, gold has started to go up. Now, I'm not going to directly accuse the mint of basically not fulfilling my order because gold price suddenly shot up. But it mightily feels that way, doesn't it? Anyway, put in another complaint. Still no replies. Nobody. The guy who was looking after it, the manager in the customer services team, just seemingly it didn't even care. Or like I was told at least on 4 occasions separately that somebody would call me back on the day to give me an update one way or the other. Nobody ever called me back any time. So eventually escalated it even further to the head of customer services email. That went ignored. I finally reached out to a couple of different people within the mint that I have had direct conversations with in the past, and they got back to me and they've helped me, which is great. But the nuts and bolts of this situation is that they cancelled the order. They did not have the stock. Now, this is why I've put in a subject access request for a full rundown of the emails that have been flying back and forward around my complaint, around my orders. I want to see if there's a smoking gun. And if they've deleted emails, we'll find out, because I'm going to put requests in with the Information Commissioner's Office. Very, very, very important to get to the bottom of this, because I think if there is some really foul behaviour here, it needs to be called out. Anyway, long story short, these orders were cancelled. And basically what happened was, got a reply to the final thing going, yeah, the order's been cancelled. It was a technical error that put them in stock. And at this point, gold had gone up nearly £400 an ounce. I'd ordered 10 of these, 5 and a bit grand's worth of gold. And I felt really like PO'd about it, really annoyed about it. So I just sort of went back to them and said, look, gold's gone up like a stupid amount. Just the spot price alone on these purchases has gone up a lot. And also not to mention the fact that they've got high retail value. You know, if I had taken delivery of them, I could have quite easily flipped them and made plus 1,000 or more profit. But probably more, to be quite frank. But that didn't happen. So anyway, I just put in a request I said, if you can offer a goodwill payment in the light of all of the different circumstances that have happened along this complaint. And I got a very vaguely worded email, which I sent to a few friends and a few other community members. And they were like, yeah, they're not offering you anything. But basically it said, we'd like to offer you the opportunity to get a 5-gram gold bar at the same price you originally paid. Bear in mind that at the time of that reply of that complaint, the price of 5-gram gold bars on the Raw Mint's website, not the Queen's Beast completed bars, by the way, just regular bars, was £535. I paid £528 for that bar. So it was either really poorly worded, or they were giving me the opportunity to spend £528 to get a £7 discount on a bar. So I just rejected their reality, and I replied saying, thank you very much for the offer of a free gold bar. I will take that up on your generous offer. And I thought that the Best Wishes bar from the Raw Mint was the best bar fitting for that. And I didn't hear back for 2 days, thought, they're just going to ignore it. But here we have a 5-gram gold bar. So I have got something from that. Then there are other orders that are now being cancelled. And I've put in 3 orders actually with the Raw Mint. One of them was delivered, and this was for the trial of the Pix coin, which I've shared on a few other videos. Bought at 3,495, and spot at the time was like 3,650. So it came, and great, yeah, got it, because these are statically priced products. And there were other 5 pound gold pieces that I know not just myself, but lots of other people bought as well. And they were at, I think, 3475 around spot price for the same amount. So nice, good deals. Made a couple of years ago, those coins were statically priced because they were special. They were proof coins, basically. And that means that the mint will have had that coin. The gold that's in this coin was, Trial of the Pix coin from 2023. So this gold has been around for the raw mint for a long time. They've made money on this, even though they sold it for less than spot price. And the same is for these other coins. But, oh no, they've cancelled it and cancelled them. So why would anybody ever want to order from the raw mint ever again? Because if at the whim of their own desire, they decide that they do not want to fulfill an order, which in their terms and conditions, by the way, neatly state that they owe us absolutely nothing in return for their failure to procure or produce these items, then what can we do as consumers? Well, we can only vote with our feet and tell them, no, this is not good enough. And I'm still waiting. I don't think I'm going to get anything more from the raw mint. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any compensation or goodwill out of them. And probably when this video is published, they will then automatically just say no, because I'm now forced to basically recoup the lost monies that I've had £7,500. No, not quite £7,500. Nearly £7,000 of my own money in the raw mint's bank account for the better part of an entire month, them earning interest on my money, me not earning interest on my money. And I've done the math, it's around about £40 that I would be out of pocket if I'd had that in my instant access savings account. So I'm left with no option, it seems, but to try and recoup that £40 in lost interest through social media, through YouTube monetization of videos of me basically sharing my story saying that the raw mint suck. And they do. They really, really, really do. And you don't have to take just my word for it. Go on Trustpilot right now. I'll put a link to their profile there and have a look at all of the recent one-star reviews. I've always thought about review sites, and this is how I use them. The truest reviews out there are the 1 and 2 star reviews, because if you take a 5-star review that just says product ordered, product delivered, thank you, that doesn't mean anything. If you take all of the 1-star reviews and you look recently in the last month, there are lots of people who have had orders cancelled. People who have placed orders expecting certain coins and they've not got them, and they've had their orders cancelled. They've been thinking they've got gold at a certain price, silver at a certain price, but it's been cancelled. Is this against a backdrop of a silver and gold shortage? No, this is against a backdrop of incompetence, of greed, of complete and utter failure in terms of customer services. And that is only due to the decisions by the executive team at the Raw Mint. And I'm going to levy a direct accusation at Anne Jessup, the CEO, to say that the decisions that you have taken for the direction of the Mint have caused significant issues in your customer services, in your ability to even do the most basic of e-commerce on your platform. You have pricing mistakes, you have listings with the wrong photographs, you have listing descriptions saying the wrong things, you have products that are released at the wrong price that we on social media have to call you out about. And when you are told that those prices are wrong, you then incorrectly put those prices back up onto the website. What more do you need? It is an e-commerce site. You sell goods at a price. You put those prices up, you put those items up with the correct information and listings. It's just not on. And it wouldn't matter if it was a private mint, but this is a government. It's a slightly hard structure to say it's government owned, but it is treasury owned, taxpayer funded in a roundabout way. And our incompetent leadership in the mint is showing its true colours because they don't care. And I've not had any contact from anybody from the executive level to acknowledge the failings, to acknowledge the stupidity of this situation that we find ourselves in. And all that we're left with is the absolute shambles that is the raw mint. And then let's not even discount the fact that they are absurdly more expensive than every other dealer out there for these products. And when they just capture people who don't know better because they think, they hear in the headlines gold and silver's up, they go to the raw mint because they trust the name, they trust the brand. And the raw mint, I've been saying it for years, the raw mint rely on that trusted brand status to overcharge people for historic coins. You look at some of the offerings that they've got on their website for old silver crowns, for old brass threepences, or whatever they're called, and they're selling them at 10, 20, 30 times what you can buy them elsewhere at. And that's only to capture as much money from people as they possibly can. I'm not even going to touch too much. I'm going to finish up as well on the direction that Mint's taking about. Basically, all they are now is a glorified metal stamping operation. And they can't even do that right because the quality is shocking. So basically, all the Mint is now is a glorified metal blank stamper. They come up with uninspiring designs, niche products that they think will be great but are really just not good at all. They are becoming a laughing stock within the community. You ask anybody and they will always tell you that the Raw Mint is the most difficult company to work with, the most difficult company to liaise with, the most difficult company to get accurate supplies from. I have had second-hand feedback from so many suppliers out there. It's shocking. It's awful. So I'm definitely done. I'm going to be buying any Raw Mint coins that ever come out again. I'm just going to be buying from third parties, from the likes of Chards. Highly recommend them. Go and check them out. But anyway, you can hear from just my voice that I'm frustrated about this. I'm angered. I'm embarrassed about it from a National Mint perspective. And I just don't see a way back unless you get a resignation from Anne Jessup. I think she's just driving the Mint into the ground and it will be gone as we know it. So very sad. £49 million loss before tax write-ups, by the way. Let that sink in. And that's your Cool Kid Club comment for today. £49 million lost. But Anne Jessup's still got a bonus. Good for you, Anne. Well done. Have a cookie. See you all on the next video. As always, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.